What a mad week it has been in the AFL world. Now, before we get on to last week's tips and this week's tips, I just want to say, buddy, I am so grateful that I got to see you live in person in Australia and for giving me one of the greatest sporting moments I've ever seen in this.
Warner, surely he looks for number 23, got him on short, and he's got it, bud. Hope they don't go early, JB.
Go on, buddy. I know exactly what happened and I still love this moment.
That's what he's got ahead of him.
Look at them all.
What do you think, JB? Start at the right post and bend it back?
He's done it so many times. 999 goals, Buddy Franklin.
The pressure he was under here.
The legend becomes
yes! Just a memory that will live on forever. Incredible. But let's get on to this week's. Let's just hope we get to see more of Buddy in the future in different roles because he will sorely be missed on the field of play. Anyway, let's look at what was the disaster of round 20. Okay, so the only plus side is people that selected certain teams, not many people selected them. So first one was Friday. We had Collingwood versus Carlton, and Collingwood, I did them to win by 10. They lost by 17 to Carlton. As I said, luckily only 7% of people picked Carlton to win, so it's not going to have too much of an impact. But it is a shock. It is a little bit of a shock. However, Carlton are on a really, really good run of form, so you can't fault them, and they are really fighting now to stay in the top 8, which they've achieved. They broke through that barrier. Saturday, Geelong versus Fremantle. Now, I think many people, 2% of people, 3 people that is, 3 people picked Fremantle to win. 98% did not. I did Cats to win by 40 because the Dockers have been pretty awful. They've had random games where they've played really well, but most of the games they just haven't turned up. And when you pick Fremantle, they don't win. And it was at the litter box. That's my new nickname for the Geelong Stadium. So at the litter box as well. And Fremantle pulled off a fantastic victory. That is really good for the Swans. Actually, Fremantle winning is really good for us. Really good. Because it stops the Cats pushing away slightly. So, yeah, I did 40. Fremantle won by 7. So 2 games without any points. Then, Bulldogs versus GWS. I got this one right. I did GWS to win by 20 because, once again, they are on really good form. They have found it. These teams... Geelong, Carlton, GWS, they have found really good form in the latter stages of this season, and it's really helping. I was only about 3 points off getting an extra score result point, half a point. So I'm a bit gutted about that, but 1 point, that's, you know, yeah, 1 point, that's better than nothing because I'm going back to having nothing for the next one. Brisbane, I did by 20. However, Gold Coast won by 96. And actually, I have backed Gold Coast in previous games, which I thought, you know, they've been scoring quite well. And when I have backed them in certain games like this, they haven't performed. So that's why I didn't. Only 4% of people went for Gold Coast. And actually, no one got a close score. So there's only a small amount of people getting extra points. So, you know, if you... There's a lot of these... that, as I said, not many people picked. So if you were one of these people that managed to pick all those games that no one else did, you would have gone up that table for sure. So I got it wrong. Nothing again. And then, what a stressful game. I literally felt like Swans versus Collingwood in the prelim final again. We were miles ahead and we started giving it away. It was just mad. Sydney I did by 30, and actually it was looking like it was going to be fairly close to that. And we just goal after goal after goal. That was really nerve-wracking because it is at a point of the season now we need to win. We need to keep winning. And at the moment, we are 38 points, level with Geelong and Richmond. So with only 2 points for 8th place and 4 points for 7th place. So this is going to be a real slog in the last little stages, last few weeks of the season. But Swans win, I get 1 point, that'll do. Then, another shocker. Like, we've had some crazy results. Now, Port have been really good. Look, they're sitting second in the table. They may actually slip down to 4th potentially if they don't up it again. Not that it matters because no one remembers who finishes where in the league. It's all about the finals. But 9% of people went for Crows. No one was close. Crows destroyed Port. They won by 47 points. I did them to win. I did Port to win by 10. So few people get 1 point. No one gets the extra half a point. Hawthorn versus Saints. Now, I predicted a Saints. I thought it'd be close because actually recently Hawthorn have been scoring a lot of goals, and clearly they did here. 93 points is a decent score that, you know, a lot of weeks would win. Saints, I thought, look, they don't necessarily win by a lot very often. They are holding on in there, aren't they? In the top 8, they are currently 5th. They are holding on with their fingertips. So I did go for Saints, only by 10, but actually they won by 29. So fair play to them. A few people got the extra half a point. I got 1 point. Then Richmond versus Melbourne. Actually, this was a really good game. I was doing a live watch along. I started off doing it for West Coast versus North, thinking, it might be a good game. Bottom of the table, actually even teams. It was really boring to start off with. So I switched over to Richmond Melbourne, and it was a cracking second half, and it was neck and neck. And then Melbourne pushed away in the last quarter, and actually it was looking like it was going to at least be a close game, and it ended up not being a close game. So I got nothing for that. I thought Richmond's form would work. That's good for us again. Actually, Melbourne winning is great for Swans. That's a really good result, but nothing for me on the board. And then, again, I just thought this has got to be Melbourne's chance, North's chance to win again against West Coast, who have been dreadful. But no, it was not to be, and it was really close. It was so close in the end. It was literally down to 1 goal, and they just, I think there was a behind in the end, but West Coast win, and I get nothing. I don't think many people got many right, and if you got those games where very few people got them right, so for example the Fremantle game, then well done to you. I think that's certainly where the points could have been picked up. Let's have a look. Jackson's still top, Frenchie's still second. They are, I think they're going to be the top 2 now. I don't think Azimuth is going to catch up. Certainly not to Jackson. Jackson's 4 points clear of Frenchie. Frenchie is 4, 5, 6, 7 points clear of Azimuth. So those top 2 have got some real people below them have got some real work to do to try and beat them. Any big movers? Running on empty up 6, Cripper up 8, Harry has a king up 9, Shrek the Third 8, Topo 21, 8, Crow-Eater 10. You know, there's a little bit of movement. Mark C down 13, Wooden Spoon, oh, Iggsy's gone down 18 with the Wooden Spoon. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Where am I? I am down 1 place, and that is down to 49th. And up 5 place, the golden hat goes to Mighty Muffin Rules. He's up 5, still in 54th place. Well, the top's done now, and it's going to be really difficult to beat them. 4 rounds to go. It is so close now to the end of the season and those finals, and so close for us to come down to Australia again. So make sure you go to Charlie and Rob to check out this year's vlogs down in Australia, and go check out last year's if you haven't. Charlie and Rob, or charlieandrob.com. Now, Marvel Stadium Friday, Bulldogs versus Richmond. Richmond have the form. you know, both teams are basically at home. You know, they both play at Marvel quite a lot, so I don't think there's any real home advantage. Who do I want to win? I don't think it matters, actually. No, actually, I think it's better if Richmond win. I think. Yeah, I think it's better if Richmond... A draw would be good, but I don't think they're going to get a draw. I think just with the form that Richmond are on, they lost last week, and it was a real tough loss for them, I think, because they could have easily won last week. I'm going to go Richmond to win this one, and it's going to be a close one. I'm going to do Richmond by 6. 1 goal in it. That's you know, both teams, they're not doing awful. They're both fighting for the top 8. Bulldogs are in 8th at the moment. Richmond are in 11th, and they've really got to pick up a win. So I'm going to go Richmond, but it could go either way. It really could. Saturday's game, first one, Essendon versus West Coast. Now, West Coast, they come off their their second win of the season. Sorry, their second win of the season. Essendon, they lost. They did show a fight against Swans, didn't they? And I was absolutely bricking it. But they are on awful form. Essendon are on awful form, and they've plummeted to 13th. They had such a good start to the season, and I just think their season's done. It's not technically done. That's the funny thing. They're only actually 4 points off top 8. But I can't see them winning. But surely they're going to beat West Coast, because West Coast were awful. Watching that game, West Coast and North, both teams were awful. I'm sorry, they were bad. And if you're a West Coast fan, I'm so sorry you have to support that this year. But I think I've got to go Essendon. Essendon should get a decent enough win. We'll go Essendon by 20 for that one. Adelaide Oval, Crows off a fantastic win against their rivals Port, against Gold Coast, who also had a fantastic win against Brisbane. It's a really difficult one, isn't it? It's a really difficult one. Form is more or less identical. Both won 3 in the last 7 games. I think, really tough. And I was backing Adelaide Crows a lot at the start of the season. I know it's at the Oval, but I think Gold Coast. I'm going Gold Coast by 10. I don't think a lot. I think it'll be close either way, but I'm going Gold Coast by 10. That is a difficult one, a really difficult one to choose. But MCG, Hawthorn versus Collingwood. Now, I said Hawthorn come from scoring a lot of goals. Collingwood come from, a pretty bad loss to Carlton. Carlton didn't win by loads, but Hawthorn, I just cannot see them winning. It's at MCG. Collingwood normally pretty strong at the MCG. It's got to go Collingwood. I think they're going to fire back now, and they're going to be angry. Angry. They're going to be a little bit peed off. So, Collingwood by 40. I think Collingwood what they've been doing well is when they have lost a game, they have come back the following week and have shown that loss was an anomaly. So I think Collingwood will win comfortably against a Hawthorn team that can score goals, but I think Collingwood would be stronger. Then at the litter box, Geelong versus Port. Port have lost 3 in a row. They're all right for top 8. That's the main thing, right? They're fine for the top 8. So that's a plus for them. Geelong lost the last 2. Do Port regain their form? This whole thing of the Cats don't often lose at home is clearly nonsense. They've just lost at home. I'm gonna say, look, I've got to go off field, right? I've got to look outside the box. Port are going to hit a bit of form now because they've got to fight to stay in the top. No, they don't have to fight to stay in the top 4, but they're going to try. Port by 10. Maybe an awful pick, but I'm used to awful picks, so it's fine. This is a huge game. The next one at the Giants Stadium, this is a huge game. GWS, who keep winning. GWS are playing really well. Toby Green, although I think he's a bit of an arse, he's playing really well. He's really leading the Giants so well. That pains me to say. It pains me to say. Swans need this. We need this. I need this. So, Swans are going to win by 6. We're used to close games. How many games for Swans have been really close this year? Swans by 6. Please. Next up, North versus Melbourne at the Blundstone in Tassie. And if you're not already aware, we'll be coming to Tassie this year. We will be coming to Tassie this year, which I cannot wait. But Blundstone, North versus the D's. D's. There is no other call you can make here. And it'd be so funny if Melbourne lose. But they're not going to, are they? D's by 40. Maybe more. D's by 40. I think that's a fair scoreline. Marvel, Saints versus Carlton. Do Carlton continue their good run? They've played really, really good football. I will say it. I still think they're a boring team, but they have been playing some fantastic football. They've been scoring goals recently. They're on a 6-game winning streak. Will they make it 7? Saints won their last 2 games, but not massively convincingly. I don't think it massively matters who wins this one in terms of Swans, because obviously that's what I'm mainly thinking about. But I just can't see. Carlton have been on such good form that you just can't ignore it, right? So I'm going to do Carlton by 30 because they have been scoring well. You just can't ignore that form. Then Optus, Fremantle versus Lions. Lions haven't lost, I don't think, 2 games in a row, or certainly not in the last 7 games, so I can see. It's at Optus Stadium. Every time I pick Fremantle, they lose, don't they? They lose. But they had a really, really good win last week. Do I do it? Do what? Fremantle fans will be like, no, don't pick Fremantle. I'm going to. Screw it. Brisbane are in the top 4. They'll be right. Fremantle by 6. I did it. So the picks for this week. Richmond by 6. Essendon by 20. Gold Coast by 10. Collingwood by 40. Port by 10. Sydney by 6. Come on. D's by 40, Carlton by 30, and the Dockers by 6. I love to hear that people have been enjoying this series and joining in on the Super Brew. The Super Brew has been really fun. The extra element of getting a close scoreline has been really, really good and made it really enjoyable. I'm gutted. I'm not been doing so well. I started off doing okay and it just went down, so that's a bit gutting. But as long as other people are enjoying it too, please do make sure you like and subscribe. Like I said, we will be back in Australia in September. We will be in Melbourne for the grand final. Fingers crossed we can get tickets as well. I don't know. Hopefully Sydney Swans will squeeze in and we will get to that grand final. Even tougher thing to do. But thank you so much. Like, subscribe, go to charlieandrob.com for our vlogs, and I'll catch you next time.